Hello, wanted to share a few things when I put this all back together. Let's see if I can get this little light going. The nut here, or the bolt for this balancer, you can see that when you turn this over, the balancer kind of goes up and down. See how it moves? And there's a nut here. It doesn't show anything about the torque, so I just torqued it good and tight. And then put this all together. The rod was hanging there. I didn't have the rod connected, but it's interesting to get this all sliding in there. And then you have to line up this dog bone, they call it, that hooks to the counterbalance of the crank. And then position stuff right so that you can start your bolts. Well, it doesn't really give you a heck of a lot of room. If you're looking at this here, it doesn't give you a lot of room to torque those bolts down. I've had this down. Let's see if I can push this down. There we go. I kind of got this tight, torquing it. Then I had to back it up a little bit. And this way, and then get the torque wrench to tighten that up a little bit. And then I got this one to torque, and then I had to turn this a little bit more to get this. So you don't got a lot of space here to get up in there. And this is a it's a 1/4 inch drive torque wrench. So if you had a 3/8 drive torque wrench, I don't know if you'd ever get it up in there to torque this. So this is a 1/4 inch drive, inch pound. It's 185 inch pounds. I torqued the rod bolts 185 inch pounds, and then I bent over little tangs on there to hold the bolts from so they don't back out. And I see that one, I need to hit it a little bit more. Yeah. Hit it. Want it up against that bolt a little bit more. Good. Line that up against that bolt a little bit more. There we go. I want to put that a little bit more. Just want it up on those bolts so they don't move, they don't back out. And they were showing when you get this rod set, you get these little washers, and then you get that little flat piece that you bend the little tabs up to hold the bolts. Well, if you use this one, you use the thing, the little tab to bend over, hit the bolts, and then you don't use these washers. Because that's how when this all flew apart, I had a piece of this, and that's what was in that piece was the end of the bolt and the washer. So the old one, that before this rod, had just the washers and not bent over tabs. It probably wouldn't have made much difference anyhow. I think they ran this thing low on oil for whatever reason. Well, it's because of the sump was leaking. So I think they just didn't put oil in it, and that's what happened to the connecting rod. So I'm going to keep going, getting this all put back together. Going to put the cam in it, and then I have to put the lifters go in before. This is what runs up against the valves off the cam lobes. The cam lobes. When the see, here we go. When the cam comes up, it pushes this up, and this is what pushes up against the valve. So I'll take care of those, get those put in, and then I'm going to put some sealer on here, put the gasket on. I'm going to put some sealer on the other surface, which is, here it is, the sump, which is the sump. Put that on there, and then we'll get this all put back together again. So that's where we are. Hopefully I'll get that done tonight. That way I can get into this, and maybe I won't need my friend Chuck to set this in here. I think if I just get this piece in there, if I put it in there, I might be able to put it in there by myself, because the crank is pretty heavy, so I can put the crank on later on. So that's what I'm looking at, trying to get this done tonight. I work 8 hours, and then I come home and I try to spend a couple hours working on it. That's why I have to turn the video off and on, just so I can get back at this. Alright, so I'm going to shut it off again and work for a while, and then I'm going to go to bed and we'll start up on it tomorrow. So, alright, see ya. I wanted to show you this here. I had to put the big crank on so I could turn it over, but I'm just turning it over by hand, and you can hear it if you listen. Making a little bit of a rubbing noise. That's just the rings breaking into the cylinder, and I put some more oil, some more 30 weight oil back in there. Seems to be working good. So just kind of working it over a little bit, getting a few revolutions before I put some more stuff together and call it a night. But just wanted to show you that. Just make a little bit of a noise when you turn it over. I've seen people, they lock channel locks on here and put a rag around it. Well, I got this pulley system, and that does it pretty good. You don't have to, I just kind of don't want to, I hate to scratch up the shaft on this. So that's what I did. Alright, see you in the morning. I'm going to be done, I think, for the night. Hello YouTubers, here it is the next day. Can you tell? Different colored shirt. When I was using this yesterday, I forgot to tell you that, you see it, I would put it on and on the piston, and then I took it off and spun it around. Well, alright, well, let's try this again. My battery just died. It's like somebody shut off the light switch. Back the next day, different colored shirt. So, I'm going to put some more time in on this. What I wanted to show you on this ring compressor is, here we go. Ring compressor is that I was putting it on the other day when you saw me put it on, and I was going to put the rings in, then I took it and switched it around. Well, when I put it on, I noticed this end was down towards the cylinder. Let's see if you can see that. Like a little dent right there. It's part of the process of building this thing, and I didn't want that dent down where I put it onto the top of the cylinder. I wanted the smooth side. You got to watch these things; they're very sharp. You slide this down on top of the cylinder and get it as flat as you can on the cylinder when you slide the rings in. So I have it all covered up for the night. Maybe I didn't explain that a lot yesterday. Okay, let me zoom in a little bit on this. You actually don't get this compressor inside this. It is a little bit, but it doesn't go, because I got it compressed now, that's why it fits inside here. But you just kind of get it up to the edge. You never get it down into the cylinder because you got to slide the rings in there. You get it close to the edge as you can. That's why you try to get it as tight as you can to hold those rings on there. So that's when you tap it, you're going to tap it in kind of quickly to get that ring past it real quick so it doesn't snap out. But if you get it in resistance, sometimes you'll have that, you'll get all the way down to the top ring and it'll pop out, and you have to unscrew it, pull it all back out again and compress it. I've have to do that a few times. Sometimes it happens. But I just wanted to explain that to you. I had to review my the tapes that I made, and sometimes I'm not always the best person as far as letting you know what I'm doing 100%. Don't always explain things all the way. So yeah, I just had that little dent in it, and I spun it around so I'd have a smoother side, so this, and a better fit to slide the piston in. I just wanted to let you know that before I forgot. So today we're going to put the cam in, cam gears, the valve tappets, get everything else on. I think during my video I called this here keep calling this a harmonic balancer all the time. It is kind of a balancer. But, what was I thinking here? I just lost my train of thought. Okay, hang on, I gotta get myself together here. Hang on. Okay, I'm back. Had to grab my thoughts. Okay. So this sits on top of the engine. It's known as the flywheel. I keep calling it the harmonic balancer. It is kind of a balancer, but it's known as the flywheel. So just wanted to let you know the correct name for it. So I keep calling it something else, and it's not. So I'll put a little bit of pieces together, show you how I did it. Not how I did it, but the progressive deal I'm doing. I want to get the cover on this thing, and I need to replace the seal. We'll probably go together, and I'll film this while I replace the seal, because I think it's important to do it the correct way, and I want to show you the correct way to do it. I did clean my... this drives me crazy. I cleaned this all out still, so you can still see some of the paint residue in there. It's not going to hurt anything. But I'm spraying the clean in here, and I've still got to pop out the seal right here. And you'll see that here later on. We're going to film that and put the new seal in. And you notice it sits down in there just a little bit. Just a little bit. Sits in down there in about 1/8 of an inch. That's what we want to drive it back into. But spraying the brake clean on it, I end up getting a little bit on the side and ruin my paint job. Yeah, like I said before, I should have had this all cleaned and spotless and everything changed around and then painted it. That's how you're supposed to do it, but I got kind of hurried and think ahead of doing this, and I just wanted to get it done, really. I've been waiting for parts. It seems like I could go someplace to the lawn. We have a place here, a lawn company, and they have a shop there that you can take your lawnmower to, and they have all the parts. And I could go there and get all the parts today, but it would cost me twice as much than ordering them online. And then I had to wait for this, wait for this thing for like 2 weeks. And I needed a new, one of these, and I needed a new ring expander. Those bottom rings, they didn't fit in the expander. You could put those on by hand, the ones where that went around the spring, but the upper ones you have to use the. You could, but I like to use the expander. I waited for a lot of parts. I mean, I've been waiting for parts for like the last month trying to get this thing together. I've been doing other things, prepping different parts of the block and all that other stuff, waiting time, and sometimes you have to wait. It's just the way it is, you know. You save some money by waiting. So I don't want to put a lot of money into this, because once I get this all done, I'm going to have to sell. I want to sell it, and so the proceeds can go towards my grandson. And it's if you put so much money in it, you're not going to make any money on it. I'm not looking to get rich with it. This is a project that I wanted to teach him how to do things and how to work on motors. He may never work on a motor again, or he may like to do some of this in school, and you know, I think he's going to grow up to be doing something in computers, and hopefully he's going to be doing some kind of video editing or something. Maybe he'll be an engineer where he can do his computers and work on engines too, and work on the mechanical things. That would be pretty cool. So this project is more or less a learning project, I guess, for me too, because I learned about how those spring type oil wipers on the bottom of pistons are not as fun and easy to put in as the other ones were. So it's a learning process for both of us. So, all right, I'm going to get back into this, and I'll get back with you to show you my progression. All right, see you in a bit. Bye. All right, I'm back. We're going to put this seal in. So let me get you set up here. All right. So we're going to pull this seal up out of here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut it first. Let's turn this light on here to give us just a little bit more light. There we go. Show up a little better. There we go. So I'm going to cut the seal, and then we're going to pull it out. First of all, I did, before I do that, I checked the seal, make sure the one I got was the right one, and this is the seal, before I forget. Back it up, down. There we go. It's 7087001. So that's the seal. Okay, that's the new one. Okay, back to cutting this old one out. I probably could have used it again, but I just wanted to cut it. And look to how far the seal is down. That's real important, because some of these are, there's a hole in here, and that hole inside here oils the lower part of some of the engine. Some of these have an oil hole. If you drive the seal down too much, you'll actually cover up that hole, and you don't want to do that. Okay, this is not working. Okay. I didn't want to do that. I just took a chunk out of that. Okay. Well, like everybody else, they usually cut at this part to pull the seal out. Now I see why. Okay, I'm going to cut to this part before I ruin something here and take my time to get this out. I'll be back. Okay, yep, we're back. What I did on this thing here is I took a screwdriver and I stuck it through here until I caught the edge of the seal. Let's see here. Let's go back a little. Wait a minute. Okay. I put the screwdriver through the back side until I caught the edge of the seal. I pounded it this way, and then I went to another angle, and I went in and pounded it that way, and it popped out. So just got to wipe the crud out of here, and then we're going to install the new one. Feel it with my finger here. It's a little rough. I think it's something I did. It's just there's part of the seal in there. Let's see if I can orientate that thing. There we go. You can see right in there. It's part of the seal's left. Part of the rubber part of the seal is still in there. Yeah, stuck in there. So we're going to have to clean that out of there. I think I have some of my. I got some that fine grit sandpaper here somewhere. Okay, well, I'm going to have to pause you again until I find the sandpaper. Hang on. Alright, I'm back. I picked up some, I went and found sandpaper here, and we're going to clean that out. Put in the sandpaper, throw that on the floor for now. There. Let's get that out of here. Pick this all up and start putting it back into my engine. Maybe I should have came over here to the other bench and sanded this. Back to the other stuff. Okay, Here's the new one. We're going to put a little oil on that. We go to put it in. A little oil around the outside edge. Drives in just a little bit better. Trick to this, it works sometimes and sometimes you get it crooked, but you want to get that thing in as flat as you can. So, you see me there? Okay. I think I'm going to take this thing down a little bit. Loosen that up. Get you down a little bit more to where I'm working. A little bit better angle. You can see it. Come on, baby. There you go. At least you can see it where the seal's at there. So you can push it in just a little bit. But you really got to eyeball this up. See, it's going in crooked. Here, let me get down. Getting old. It's hard to get down on one knee, but you got to get down to see what you're doing here. Time tapping that in there. It's got little grooves on the end of the seal. Go around the seal. Come on, baby. Come on, be nice. Be nice. Didn't I tell you? Come on. Maybe I need to get me one of them fancy seal driving tools. You think? Okay, we're even and we know we need to go down, I'd say about 1/8 of an inch. And I looked in there and I didn't see any oil holes. There are sometimes, there's an oil hole in here on some of the, I think the Vanguards. Those are the big 18, 23 horse. They have a hole here and you can only drive the seal in until it's flush, and you got to be really careful that you don't drive that seal in and plug off that hole, because I think that the hole goes over to the those actually have an oil pump in it. Yeah, these newer ones are more like a car every day. You got all kinds of fun stuff in them. So we got I got a bigger socket. We're just gonna drive that down a little bit. Camera. Oh. Yeah, see we got a good turn it here. See we got a good radius back. There we go. See good radius all along there. We're down. I show better with my screwdriver. Gee whiz. Up, up, tip. There we go. You see that little space right there? That's the space we needed to be down in there. That's just like the old one. So we got that little space all the way around in there. Trying to get the angle of this. So we got that thing right in there. Okay. Okay. Now I'm going to prep the block. I'll put that up here. You'll see me put this the sump cover on. You'll see me put this on. Let me back it up. Put backwards. So we'll put the sump cover on. So let me bring the engine back over here. I'm going to put some sealer on the block itself, and then I'm going to put some sealer, light coating of sealer on here. Then I'm going to put the gasket on, and you're going to watch me all put it right back together before I start putting the bolts into it and torquing it down. So, alright, I'll be right back and I'll have this camera all set up then. Okay, I'm back. Zoom in on this a little bit, get a little better angle on that. Putting that case on there. Alright. Okay, I put some silicone sealer, the RTV stuff here, on there. Let it tack up a little bit. It's tacky. Now I'm going to put the seal on there. And I also put some on the lower sump cover. I put some around this already. So here we go. Okay. So I slide it over the dowel pins and just push it in place. Push it down. To stick. That's what we want it to do. We want it to stick. The reason I put some underneath this is in case there was any defects, bobbles in this part here that you might not see otherwise. So. Yeah, I might have got some grease from I took my gloves off to do this. Okay. So on this here, this is the camshaft. That's the cam button. This is the oil slinger, of course, and this is your crankshaft. So we're putting that in here. The end of the cam right here is going to fit in this hole right here. And then the oil slinger, you can see right here, this oil slinger fits in this little valley. I don't know if I can see that. Right there, this little valley here. That's where the oil slinger fits in. Of course, now we have to put some lubricant all over this shaft because we're going to be sliding that new seal in there, and we don't want that seal to roll. And rolling the seal, what it says it does, it rolls it over, and there's a little spring inside there, and it could come out. So we just want to lube that up, and we're going to lube up that seal really good too. Get some of my fingers here. We want it all nice and slippery. Okay. And grab my little, and use a rubber mallet when you put this on. Don't use a hammer. Good way to mess this thing up. This is aluminum, pound a hole through it. It takes a little pressure for this to go on. I put these on before, but you got to kind of know your own strength here, okay? So put it on, but be kind of careful. So we want to make sure our slinger's in the right spot, and we're going to slide this on now. Around the shaft here. Okay. Work it around a little bit. There we go. I'm kind of tipping it back and forth a little bit to get it over there. Grab my flashlight. I'm looking around on the back side to see where that cam is lined up with that hole. And it is. It's lined up. But we have dowel pins. We have dowel pin here and a dowel pin over here. Those have to line up too. So. Okay. Oh, look at that. Didn't have to tap on. Popped right in. Feels like the lever's in place. So we've got it all just popped in. Oh, I love that. And I'll turn it sideways a little bit and I'll hold it together. But you can see it's popped in. Seal is popped in really nice. All along there. Okay, so down through the holes and make sure everything's all lined up. Okay, everything looks good. So I'm going to put the bolts in. When I put the bolts in, I'm going to put some Loctite. I got to look at the monitor to make sure you can see it. I'm going to put some Loctite on these and put them in. These get torqued to 185, I do believe. I'll have to look. It's on my notes. I had some notes here. Sump 185, 185 inch-pounds. And there's a sequence to these. Here is the sequence. I got this online, and that's the sequence in which you torque them down. So we got one here, and where's two? So we got one. Where's two? There's two. So we go there, there, And then we go up there. It's you kind of go around in a circle. If you look at this, you'll see that it kind of goes from opposite sides. And I'll just bring these, I'll take them down snug, just a little bit snug first with the ratchet, and then I'll go around and maybe I'll do 100 pounds and go around and do the 100 pounds, and then I'll take it and run it up to 185 pounds. But I will follow the sequence on how they're supposed to be tightened. Because you tighten one side of this more than the other side, you could actually warp this housing, and we don't want to do that. Of course, here's the gasket that I put on there. And the gasket has different thicknesses. Right here, that shows 0.15. This is 0.15 thousandths thick. They make like a, I think like an 0.4, and I do believe an 0.6 or 0.7. But that's all on the. Once you get that torque down, you check your end play. And this is, I've already checked the end play on this one, and it's fine. So I already put that on there, dry, torque down spots, checked the end play, and it was fine. So that's already been set. So that's what I'm going to do right now. Torque this up, and then I'll get right back with you. Alright, I'll be right back. Alright, we're back. I've already screwed them in to get them started. I used just the ratchet, and I screwed them in until I make sure they're in the threads. So I got them hand tight, and I put the ratchet back on. So I put the ratchet on it, and I wrap my hand around it. I didn't get way out here and torque it. I just get it really short. So I put them in there until I just got them snug, and I went around to each one according to the schematic here that shows that it's the series and the numbers how I did them. And then I went back and I torqued them 110 inch-pounds, and now I'm going to do the final torquing on the bolts. So we start with number 1 in the sequence. This is number 1. This thing doesn't click, you can feel it bump. That's 1. Okay, this is number 2. There's 2. Let's see, number 3 is up here. That's 3. Number 4 is down here. Number 5 is up here. A lot of bolts on this one. And number 6 is all the way over here. Make sure you get nice steady. 6. Now we're going to 7, which is up here. More on that. There's 7. 8 is the bottom corner. 9 is right here. And the last one is 10. Alrighty. Well, let's hope I remember to put everything in here. Am I missing any parts? Oh gosh, I shouldn't even say that. I probably just gave myself bad luck on that one. Yeah, oh, put the engine together, I got this one bolt left. Where does this go? You have to know where all your bolts go. Please. If you get an extra bolt, you better think about everything that you've done. Especially when it comes to doing engines. Yeah, you'd be surprised on... I used to be a mechanic. Surprised when people forget to put in the engine. It can wreck them. So, hey, we've got it together. It's pretty cool. I'm going to have to go back in here with some of my my missing green paint that I messed up here. Yeah, I got to get in here. As soon as this silicone dries, I'll have to get in here and get my can of spray paint and put some paint back on this thing. Yeah, I know. should have done this, I should have done that, but you know what? I didn't, so I got to deal with it. So we'll get this thing all painted up, and then we'll be ready to go put the head on it. We'll go backwards here. So I'll be ready to put the head on the top of it, and then we're going to hook up the carburetor, and I got to set the valves too. Set the valve clearance on those. I mean, maybe I can show you that a little bit later. We're going to have to check the tolerances on those and make sure they're within specs, and put all the springs and everything together. It's not done. It's just part of being done. But I think a lot of the hard stuff, getting the cover and stuff on this stuff, is not easy, but it's not as time consuming as the piston. How important. Every part of this motor is important. You should do it correctly, but this is kind of the big ones. Getting the piston in, getting the case on, and getting everything lined up. So the rest of the stuff is pretty much bolt on, but it still takes time. Alright, this is Rick. I'll catch up with you later. I think I'm going to go take the dog for a walk and exhale. I got a lot done today. Alright, thanks. Bye.